Picture this. Your friend invites you to hang out over the weekend. You hang out semi-often. It's not like it's been a long time since you've seen each other last. You're rather busy that week. You have to go grocery shopping, visit your grandma, go to the bank. Maybe you have plans with another friend on Thursday, too. Point is, you have a lot to do that week, and even though you've got nothing specifically on Saturday or Sunday, you don't particularly want to spend either of those days doing anything. That's fair, isn't it? Alone time is fair. You're already doing a lot over the course of the week. It'd be nice to have some downtime. But they've invited you out. What would you tell them? You might give in and say, okay, sure, I'm free. I think we've all done that, even when we don't really want to. Just out of what we'd consider common courtesy. Social pressure. But what if you really didn't feel up to it? Social battery drained, you just can't bring yourself to spend time with this person at this time. In that case, you might say, oh, I'm actually pretty busy, maybe another time. Or maybe you'd even tell a bit of a white lie and say you've got plans that day. If they're a close friend, you might say you don't really feel up to it, but depending on the person, this could still come across as rude. Depending on the person, they might think you just don't want to hang out with them, right? If they're more of an acquaintance, you'd probably feel more obligated to either accept their invitation begrudgingly or to lie to get out of it. The less you know the person, the less truthful you're willing to be with them. At one point or another, we've all done this, right? My question is, why? Why do we have to lie to others? You might say something along the lines of, oh, well, it's so we don't hurt other people's feelings. It's sort of funny if you think about it. As kids, we're told lying is bad. Lying hurts people. But as we get older, we learn that sometimes it's better to lie about small things so that we don't upset others. Sort of contradictory. Okay, that being said, this is a cultural thing. We seem to think this way in English-speaking countries. America, of course, but also in the UK. And that is very evident in the play I'm going to discuss today. The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. In this story, Jack has created a false persona called Earnest, which he assumes whenever he travels to London. He's done this specifically so that he can go between his country home and the city without people in one area knowing what he's up to in the other, allowing him to be free to do what he pleases. Then there's Jack's friend Algernon. Algernon has also created his own character, called Bunbury, but rather than assuming the name for himself, Algernon says that Bunbury is a bedridden, sickly friend and uses him as an excuse to shirk social obligations. We see an example of this in the story. Algernon informs his Aunt Augusta that Bunbury is ill once again and that he should be with his poor friend instead of attending dinner with her that night. It just can't be helped. Of course Augusta can't blame Algernon for spending time with a friend who may or may not be around much longer, could she? Alright, so it's been established that both Jack and Algernon use their respective characters, Ernest and Bunbury, to be free from social obligations. This ends up getting them in a lot of trouble later on down the line. The woman Jack loves, named Gwendolyn, knows him as Ernest. This backfires when she admits she would not love a man with another name. This worries Jack, since of course, his name is not really Ernest. Likewise, Algernon sneaks over to the country to meet Jack's ward, Cecily. Cecily has become increasingly infatuated with the mysterious Ernest, who she has been told is Jack's brother. Algernon learns of this and assumes the name Ernest when he visits Cecily, acting as if he's Jack's brother. Cecily wishes to marry Algernon, whom she believes is called Earnest. The real kicker is that she informs him she has wanted to marry someone called Ernest since she was a girl. She would not be able to give him her full attention if he were to have another name. So both Jack and Algernon are in a similar predicament. The women they love each believe they are called Ernest. The lies they had so carefully crafted in order to escape consequence and social obligation have now backfired completely on each of them. Now they do, in fact, have consequences to face, consequences that are so much worse than if they had just only been truthful to begin with. Things do actually end up going well for them in the end. It's a cute little play after all. Jack and Algie come clean to the women who are understandably upset with them initially, but everything ends up being resolved once they're truthful. It also turns out that Jack is actually called Ernest after all, like that actually turns out to be his real name, but that's not important to the point that I'm trying to make today. The point is that their lack of communication, while intended to keep them, Gwendolyn, and Cecily happy, ended up almost destroying both of the men's relationships. Their alter egos, specifically designed to avoid consequence, almost cost them what they both wanted most in this world. If they had only communicated to begin with, they wouldn't have been in this situation. However, I'm not entirely blaming them for their lying. Yes, it's obviously their fault this time that things went the way they did, but I'm also going to come out and say that their actions are also a result of another thing. Society. British high society, to be more specific. All the intricacies of Victorian etiquette, not saying what you mean, putting social niceties over personal well-being, sounds exhausting. It's a good thing we don't go through all of this now, right? Except for we do, albeit on a much smaller scale, thank God for that. Though it's not nearly as suffocating as it seemed to be in Victorian England, And it does seem like it was, considering Wilde wrote an entire play about it. Think of the example from earlier about spending time with a friend. A white lie to get out of socializing isn't so bad, is it? But then what if that friend finds out you were lying? It would hurt a bit, surely. They might question their relationship with you. Wouldn't be great. What you think is a small lie to avoid hurting feelings might end up doing more harm than good. This social practice that's so deeply ingrained in our society can hurt. So once again, I ask, why? Wouldn't it be simpler to just say what we mean to begin with? Instead of saying, oh, I can't, I have to go somewhere this weekend, why shouldn't we give a more honest response? Something like, oh, I've got a lot on my plate right now. I don't think I can mentally handle any more social interaction. Would that be so bad? In the long run, I think it pays to be honest. Say what you mean and things are a lot less complicated. It's a very American thing to do, actually, and British as well, of course. But I obviously have more experience with America. The way in which we lie about things here is very specifically American, though. Dutch people, for example, are apparently very direct, valuing blunt honesty over false kindness. This sounds nice to me, honestly. At least then you know what someone actually means. Another thing I think is really important to what I'm trying to convey here is mental health. I've already mentioned social battery, and you may or may not be familiar with that term. A lot of people use it, but it's more commonly a term used by introverts or neurodivergent people. Many neurodivergent people tend to get tired out by social interaction, and too much interaction with other people can cause discomfort or even breakdowns. What do many neurodivergent people also struggle with? Social cues. Social rules. People not saying what they mean. These people would really benefit from less social rules. It can be hard to remember them all. I can't speak for every neurodivergent person. I'm not diagnosed myself, though I am an introvert and can't socialize too often or I get stressed. But I do have people in my life who are diagnosed, with autism specifically, and for the most part they agree that social cues can be difficult for them. When they're expected to just know what someone means without being directly told, they feel out of the loop. Like they've done something wrong even though they genuinely don't understand it. Like I said, exhausting. Neurodivergent people would really benefit from honesty. Everyone would benefit from honesty. It's no wonder Jack and Algernon created entire fake alter egos to get out of social expectations. They're suffocating. If Victorian society was blunt and honest, they would have never felt the need to go this far. Actual Victorian people, though their lives of course weren't as far-fetched as what Wilde wrote about, wouldn't have had to lie to get out of obligations. In present-day America, we wouldn't have to do the same. So, why not start now? Why not be honest? Save yourself the trouble. Next time you have something you absolutely cannot go to because you're just so socially drained, tell that person the truth. If it works for the Dutch, why can't it work for us? Oscar Wilde truly was ahead of his time. He really did know the importance of being earnest. Thank you.